Hey families, it's Mr. Kirby. I just wanted to record a quick video kind of going over the ecosystem project that the kids and I have been working on lately. So this project is going to be due on December 19th. And so we still have quite a few days to work on this. And we have been working on it now for about a week and a half. So what the kids and I have been doing so far, we've been working on finding some research, putting that research into a report style, and then making a presentation, and then finally we're going to start working on our boxes. So I'll kind of go over the report itself, the presentation, and then we can talk about the boxes and I can show you some examples. So for this report, I'm going to post the examples to Class Dojo so that they are there for you to look at as well. But essentially, in this rubric that I gave the kiddos, they have 4 quote-unquote paragraphs. Now, I'm not expecting the kids to come in and write these awesome research reports about ecosystems. What I really cared about is that they took the time and put the effort in to research some of these questions. And I shouldn't say a lot, all of our students have done a really good job of that. So the questions they all revolve around the ecosystem, and we've been putting those on pieces of paper so that we can then transfer and type them up. And this is the example document that I showed the students earlier this week. And so I taught them how we do a heading. And for this, they need their name, the due date, ecosystem report, and then they need to put Mr. Kirby 4th grade. I taught them how to center a title using Google Docs with our inline and indent buttons here. And then I showed them how to really type and indent and how to put information from paper to a computer. And so, of course, this is going to be a pretty decent rough draft or a pretty decent view of what the kids need to try to get to. Now, if the students struggle with writing paragraphs, but they answer all the questions, they're going to get the points. Because if we go back to the rubric, as we notice right here with all of the yellow sections, the yellow highlighted, in order to get full points, they just need to answer the questions. And the questions need to make sense on the ecosystem. And so it's kind of like I was telling the kids, like for the example project, I did a mountain. I did a mountainous ecosystem. And if I wrote about a ocean for the mountainous ecosystem, obviously that wouldn't make much sense. And so I wouldn't be getting my full points. But as long as the kids answer the questions and put something on paper and I can help with the formatting, we're going to be okay. And they're going to get the points for it. For the presentation, again, real easy for this one. They need 5 slides, or at least 5. So essentially they're going to have a title slide, and then the other 4 slides need to revolve around the paragraphs, and that is what is on the second category here. And so as long as the slides in the report accurately represent the paragraphs they typed, so again, if I go to my report and I show, or my presentation, and I pull up a presentation that's talking about the ocean, and I did a mountain, then we're going to have some issues. But as long as they wrote about a rainforest and they make a presentation about the rainforest, it's going to be okay. And so what I'm talking about when I say that the slides need to represent the paragraphs. So the first slide is a title slide. Second slide is our first paragraph. And so this was where students named the ecosystem, why they picked it, kind of where it's at in the world, and then some popular locations. And for this one, you see I name it. I told the students why I picked it. The map in the background kind of serves where at in the United States there's some mountains. And then I labeled 2 pretty popular mountain ranges in the United States. And so that slide works. It rolls with it, and it's all good. For the next slide, I included the animals that I researched from the paragraphs. And with that, I just need us to include the animal name and then what kind of role it plays in the environment. So if it's a carnivore, if it's an herbivore, omnivore, if it's a decomposer, producers, so on and so forth. And the amount that the students need to have is in the rubric report section. So as long as they get something down on paper, or I should say on the slide, that they name their animals, then we're all good. The fourth slide, which is going to be a little jam-packed because it's talking about the climate and then natural resources in an environment. And again, as long as they kind of hit those areas and talk about what they talked about in their paragraphs or their research, then they're going to get their points. Same for the last one when we talk about how climate change has affected our ecosystems. Again, it just needs to reflect what they wrote down. And so I'll post the report, the example report that I put, and then also the example presentation. I'll put those in Class Dojo for us to look at, as well as all of the rubrics. When we look at example box projects, so I'll just go to Pinterest real quick. And when I look at Pinterest, and I'm going to type in ecosystem box projects, what's going to pop up are some awesome examples. All right, so this one that I'm kind of hovering on right now, as you can see, it's a rainforest, and the boxes, they don't need to be big. They don't need to be these big, giant things. Even something like right here, what I'm hovering over now, is fine. Like I said, I just care if the kids try. I want us to try. I want us to have fun building ecosystem habitats together. I want them before break to be doing something with their hands and not sitting behind a screen. And then I want something that we're going to be able to show off. So for the box itself, if I go right here, this says shoebox. I just tried to think of the most common box that they might have at home. If it's an Amazon box, that's fine. The kids just need a box. And then we can start working from there. So essentially, what we need to work on, the organisms in the environment, right? To get their full points, they just need to include this amount of organisms from the environment they picked, right? So if I was talking about my mountain project, I would include 2 carnivores of a mountain ecosystem, 2 herbivores or omnivores. And that's just plant eaters or things that eat both plants and animals. I would need to include 3 producers and 1 decomposer to get my points. Labeling organisms in the environment. I'm going to help the kiddos out with this, so it's not going to be some crazy big task that the students are going to be stressed out about, I'm hoping at least. But basically, I'm going to help them create a key that will show what the organism is and what role it plays in the environment. And that way, we're all going to be in this 4 category, and it's going to run smooth. For the environment's portrayal, again, if I say I'm making a mountain, I hope that it's going to look like a mountain. The example that I put in here, the desert looks like and actually represents a desert, right? So if a kid tells me they're making a desert and they bring in an ocean box, that's not going to be very accurate. And so as long as they try and at least can make a box that looks or at least can be representative of the ecosystem that they picked, then it's going to be okay. Um, I saw this one earlier, right? And so the one that I'm hovering on right now, it says how to make a shoebox design. This top section right here, if they can tell me that that's a rainforest and if they include all their stuff, then it's okay. This one right here, they made a lake or a swamp, and I would say awesome. If a kid went all out when they're talking about a desert, right, and they put some sand and some cactuses, then it's okay. Again, I don't want this to be some big stressful thing, because it's fun. It's fun to build some stuff, and that's what I'm hoping that it is for the kiddos. So that's kind of it. For the effort and timeliness, it's just, did they turn in the project on time? Lately, we've had a ton of absences, and so if your student has been missing some school or is going to miss school, that's okay. I have no problem pushing due dates back for kids that are sick and need more time to work on stuff. We're just going to work hard while we're at school, and if a student wants to take a box home over a weekend and work on it, then it's okay. But as for right now, the due date is the 19th, which is the day before break starts. So we still have quite a bit of school left, and I'm hoping that this is something fun that we can look back on and kind of keep up in the room to look at and think of a fun project that we got to do together. If there's any questions or if you need any specific questions answered, just shoot me a message and I'll try my best to get back to you pretty quick. As for anything else, just message and I will try my best to answer.